Hello, and welcome to today's Saturday edition of WARPAINT, brought to you by the Warboy Studios. I am very excited for our guest today. Host of Stefs Rock Show is going to join us. We both have crazy pasts, crazy stories, and very, very strong opinions. But before we get into it, if you want to keep up with everything that I'm doing, you can find me pretty much everywhere under Culture Culture. I'm on YouTube for shows and clips, X for commentary, live reactions, and of course, this wonderful show. Instagram and TikTok for short form content. And if you want to support my work directly, you could subscribe to me on X, or you could just go buy me a coffee. And if you're following our broader projects, please check out the Warboy Studios and all the hosts, even Patty, although he's a spineless libtard. This is Warboy Studios, this is WARPAINT, and ladies and gentlemen, it is time to put it on.
Welcome to WARPAINT.
I'm telling you just how I feel. So
they'll take you.
Fuck you! I was right. Fuck you! I was right.
You need to remember that.
By sharing this video.
Oh no! Fuck. Yeah.
Welcome to WARPAINT, sir.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn.
Music and the truth until dawn.
Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. Occupied zone.
the chair is against the wall.
The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory, tree. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And I put Nirvana on. Head backwards and I grab my bomb. First thing first in the Game Boy on. Game Genie, cause I'm fucking bombed. I live that baggy t-shirt, dirty sneakers, dank reefer. We's a beasties. I like guys who beat her rights and bloodshot eyes. I grew up with a cool big brother, played in bands and he skate all summer. Sometimes he lend me records like Green Day or the Chili Peppers. You can buy me humming Smash Mouth, talk shit and then knock your ass out. Hell yeah, we fucking creeps. Me and all my friends got bang, I'm so raw. Wanna get down, gotta zag. I'm pretty fly for a white girl, right? No closing time, we stay out all night. I want that Zach Morris, Nick Carter, Kurt Cobain. I want those chucks and that flannel tied around my waist. Grew up on an island in the sun. Tourist kids, they would go and come. Sometimes they leave me CD, Sugar Ray to some shady LP. I show up and I crash your sofa. Pop champagne like a supernova. Fuck it, let's party like it's 1990. So grimy. We are the children of the 1990s. We live this shit. Don't kill my teen spirit. We are the children of the 1990s. We are the children of the 1990s.
If you want me, you can hit me on my pager. I don't take no emails, you can send that shit on paper. If you need me, you can call me on my house phone. If I'm busy, then you gon' get the dial tone.
Red jeans, flannel shirt, so grimy.
Hey, what is going on here? Nova, get up. It's time to record.
They told you the war was over, and that the culture battle was done, dusted, settled. They told you to go home, smile nice, and obey. But you're here. And so am I. Which means it's not over.
Who wants to begin?
I'm tired of sleeping and dreaming. Hop out the shell of a being. I'm tired of working and bleeding. I am the God and I mean it.
There can be only one.
16, pouring up another scene. Papa got the vaccine, so ain't no acting, play no practice. Niggas wanna check this album playlist. Fuck you, pay me. I'm tired of sleeping and dreaming. How about the shell of a being? I'm tired of working and bleeding. I am the God and I mean it.
That means I have to unmute myself. You all know what this means, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to bring on the guest of today and time for the simultaneous sip. So grab your bottles, your glasses, your cups, your mugs, and join us for the unbridled pleasure. And let me not forget to mention Scott Adams in the hospital. He's the reason that we do the simultaneous sip. He's not in good shape. Apparently, he's paralyzed below the waist. Still has feeling and needs radiation. So please keep Scott in your prayers and put him in this moment as we enjoy the simultaneous sip together and start our podcast. Here we go. Enjoy that wine extra for me, would you?
I know. You're creating a beautiful baby, a beautiful life, though. So that's incredible.
Yes, it's definitely worth it. I don't like alcohol that much.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, welcome to WARPAINT. Thank you for joining us today. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, and how we can find you elsewhere once we're no longer on this podcast?
Well, first of all, thank you, Kim. And I love your intro. That was really neat. 90s rock. You've got Nick Fuentes, Donald Trump, all of my favorite leaders and Vikings. I'm on board with everything that you're doing. My name is Stephanie. I started Stefs Rock Show as a joke in 2004 on my college campus radio station at University of the Pacific, KPAC. And then the joke turned into something that I fell in love with and went down to Los Angeles, got into Playboy Radio, was at the Playboy Mansion, started networking. I ended up at 101X in Austin, Texas, and the Hippo in Monterey, California. Spent a lot of time in my grandma's ranch in Montana, loved shooting guns. Also been a registered Republican since my 18th birthday. My grandfather owns a huge law firm here, Sullivan & Newton, and he's been a judge and in politics since I was younger. So as much as I love rock and roll and being a DJ, I've also been heavily engulfed in political movements. I fought in Sacramento, California against the COVID vaccine with my kids at the Capitol, and I took the kids with me, and we were there for a couple months. So that was an awesome. I'm in Moms for Liberty chapter out here in Yolo County, and I'm vice president of that chapter. But yeah, you can find me. I'm mainly on the gram. I love Instagram. I just made new handles last year. So Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube is where I hang out. Stefs Rock Show, Steph with an F, and I'm interviewing rock stars, but also directors, cool people like you guys that do neat things. Anyone I find fascinating, I love it. It's my show, and I'm just like, come by, let's talk. So it's everything.
Well, maybe one day I'll pop over there. That would be fun.
You're going to. No, you're coming on my show. Yeah.
Wonderful. It's so funny. I think I shared it in my story, but I don't think I talked to you about it. But one of my big claims to fame in my cannabis era was throwing a spontaneous mansion party co-hosted by Playboy Radio.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Wow.
definitely one of the we have a lot of really random crossovers like that, but it sounds like you got smart on politics a lot faster than I did. I was still kind of a shit lib until I was, I don't know, like 23. I kind of started getting red pilled. And then I would, by the time like 2016, 2017 happened, I was full blown like in it to win it type stuff. Starting to talk about like political commentary, getting into that kind of avenue. Um, so it's interesting. Like I said, I went through like the peak of my degeneracy, I would say, during my liberal phase.
I understand that. I think I got so into it growing up because I looked up to my grandfather that was, a very Republican figure in San Joaquin County in California. And so, but I moved to Los Angeles and I quickly found out I wasn't going to be able to work and get in the industry if I was so vocal about my stance, which is sad, right? But I was 21. So I was really immature and I felt uncomfortable with being honest about who I was. So I definitely got away from politics for 5 or 6 years in LA. I kind of had to hide out or I would lose jobs. It's such a sad thing, right? Like I've been fired from a burlesque troupe because they found out I voted for Trump and I was against Black Lives Matter. And I just think more of us need to be vocal that a lot of Republicans or right-wing people, libertarians, have lost out on careers and opportunities because the Democrats have been so judgmental on our politics, which we talked before the show. I have friends of all shapes, colors, and sizes that believe in different things, and I love them. I grew up with them since childhood, and so we connect on a deeper level than just what you believe in. And it's a bummer to be judged when you don't judge others. And that's how I felt from liberals. I feel very judged.
Well, that's how it was for, I mean, that really is what pushed me all the way into the right, was realizing when I was initially came into this thinking like, oh, I'll be an olive branch. And they just don't understand. Like, they call these people Nazis and white supremacists or whatever. And maybe I can just like, I got to know a lot of them because my aunt is also a very prominent political figure. And I started, hanging out with her because I was in LA all the time. And I went to see Chelsea Handler. We went to Bill Maher. We went to all sorts of places. And she did a show called Problematic with Moishi something or other. I can't remember his name. And I actually started meeting like conservative political influencers who were a little more my age. And these are all people who were, like I said, like, these are Nazis, they're also Jewish, but they're Nazis. And talking to them made me socially ostracized from all the people that I grew up with for the most part. There's still some that have like hung on for dear life and roll their eyes because they don't necessarily agree with my politics. But, like you said, let bygones be bygones. You don't have to agree about everything. But basically, like, I was treated so horribly just for saying simple things like, hey, like, these people aren't Nazis. Like, maybe you should hear them out. And I would immediately get met with like, oh, we always knew you were just like your aunt. We always knew this was going to happen. Like, you're a bad person just like them. And it was like, hold on, like, you won't even have the conversation. That doesn't make any sense. And then I actually started getting more involved because it was like, okay, I need to know what the heck I'm talking about. Right. And I realized more and more how conservative and how right wing my internal morality actually tipped. And it was like, oh, okay, well, I can still hold these beliefs and not think lesser of other people. So I don't understand where the social stigma of like, oh, that's just these pretentious people. They hate everybody who doesn't look like them. And it's just, it's a mockery of society. It's turned us into bickering assholes who like, we take away the personification of people because we're all behind the screen all the time.
Yeah, keyboard warriors. I hate those. I hate closed-minded people too in general. Like I said, I love everyone, and obviously I'm in California, which is really difficult. I share custody of my kids, or else I'd be in Idaho or Montana by now with a ranch. So I'm stuck here for a little longer. So I'm fighting the good fight. NorCal's better than SoCal. I'll say that. There's a good amount of people up here that hunt and fish with me. But I'll tell a story that's so sad. My girlfriend owns a cafe and it's very successful, and she's a lesbian. And so everyone assumes if you're a lesbian in California, you are a Democrat. She is very right wing and has voted for Trump all 3 times, and she has to hide it. She can't tell anyone because she knows her cafe will go under people in Sacramento will not go to a cafe thinking a lesbian is a Republican, which is just blows my mind. Why
It's so
can't we open our minds up?
It's so funny. They've almost put her back in the closet.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It
Yes.
really, like, being a conservative in the entertainment space, you really do have to be in the closet. And I know, and I will never out them until the day I die, but I know many a big, like, entertainment person in certain, you know, in, like, music and in film, very, very conservative, very right wing. We'll never talk about it. I remember, like, there was literally, like, there was a conversation going on, like, with them nearby, and someone was, like, espousing all of this, like, oh, anti-Trump, anti-troop, blah, 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 and I just kind of remember, like, making eye contact with him out of the corner of my eye, trying to be, like, low-key about it, and him just being like...
You got to know when to hold them, right? And when to fold them. Because, you know, it's an industry. And I will say there's bands that have been ostracized for being vocal about being Republicans. I reached out to them first to come on my podcast, and I'm reposting them and everything they're doing, which is Trapped, Stained, and Drowning Pool have been the 3 most vocal right-wing bands and against the vaccine. And it was hard because they knew they lost fans. They lost some album sales being vocal about their stance. And so I'm always like posting photos with them. You know, I will say, like, you know, I'm trying not to, it's my first year with the podcast. So I'm trying not to put myself in the bubble too much because I work with a lot of LA managers. But if you look at my page, it says Freedom Mama Bear. If you see how much I post Drowning Pool and all their wives and Trapped, you could put 2 and 2 together equals 4, you know, pretty simple. But
well, it's becoming safer for people like you to come out. And I mean, I'm all the way, I'm like, I'm a fully politically exposed person. I'm like making really inappropriate jokes. I'm like, I'm full tilt just trying to piss people off and really, like, push the extent of free speech. But I understand because I spent so long like, ooh, do I really?
I'm ready to go there. I am. I'm ready to go. Just this first year, I remember being like, God, I hope a band comes by my podcast. And now I'm booked out till March for the next, you know, 3.5 months. And so I'm actually like backlogged up. So I'm getting a little cocky for, you know, a better lack of better words. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not only going to be funny and sexual because that's who I am, but I also want to be honest that I'm a Republican that likes rock and roll, which is not very common. I wish it was more. And a female. Right?
Honestly,
like,
I think it's more common than we believe. And I think that there is, like, you look at, like, the emo Jesuses of the spaces, you see, who's like, oh, there's so many others that I wish I could think of their handles, but it's like alternative content creators who are like, no, like, fuck you. I'm right wing and I'm proud to be white and there's nothing you can do about it.
It's
like,
more common with younger generations though.
Yeah,
like I'm older and it was not a thing. And a lot of my generation is
coming back.
Yeah, it's like quiet about it. Or, you know, I will say the LA scene is still pretty, you know, even the Sacramento Odyssey, I thought about getting back into radio at 98 Rock, and they're all very woke left. They only have like lesbians and trans hired, and they are very upset with how I view things because we've just sat down for some lunches, you know, and it's like crazy that I know that's played a huge role because I'm very talented on me not getting a job at a Sacramento radio station because I don't think how they think, which, like I said, again, blows my mind. I don't care if you think differently than me. I'll go on someone's podcast that's woke and I'll talk to them. I love to get to know people in general. So it doesn't bother me if someone thinks differently from me.
So I have to ask, especially because you are like very in the like music space. I'm sure you heard the video of Ronnie Winters, the guy from Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. No Trump supporters at my show. No Trump supporters. Like,
he came on my show. I don't know if you.
He did? I had no idea. Did he?
I gotta send you it. You're gonna laugh because,
dude, I'm gonna cry. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So, it really cracked me up. So, and this happened after his statement. So I was disgusted by that statement. Way to isolate the music industry, right? I want to go, what do I have in common? Music taste. Let's keep it to music. That's a little bit more my show in general too. Oh, we both like this band. We probably be friends. I don't need to tell you I'm pro-life and we both like Blink-182 and now we have different views. Like, I'm not like that. So they would hate me. Their manager reached out to me because I work at Aftershock Music Industry, a festival in Sacramento, and they were on the lineup last year. So their manager said, "Can they come by your show?" I said, "Yeah." Ronnie was out of it. He said he's gay and weird and nobody likes him. He said he was on Tylenol and he was acting really weird. And I go, you know what? I'm going to give a platform to anyone. And if you want to embarrass yourself, go ahead and embarrass yourself. So it's actually a pretty heightened short on my YouTube and TikTok that he's like, "I'm gay and retarded." And I'm like, that you kind of sound that way. I mean, I'm not gonna fight you on that. And then if he knew I was a Trump supporter, so I put on, to let you know, the 2016 airplane landing Trump party in 2016 in Sacramento, and he played Space Jam, and my older son was on my shoulders, and it was so fun. So that's how long I've been in the game. I didn't think he was going to win. I'm going to be completely honest. I was like, oh, Clinton's been in the game for a while, but this is so fun. I'm going to vote for him. Was so stoked when he won. But yeah, if Ronnie knew that he came by a massive Republicans podcast, he'd be pissed. But I'm not going to turn down a manager that reaches out to me. That's a band that has a hit from. So he has one hit. Why are you telling people not to come to your shows? There's only 20 people showing up.
My big thing, or my big line about the whole situation was like, what are you gonna like send the brown shirts to go investigate everybody's house to make sure they don't have a Trump flag? You're gonna make sure check their voter registry when they show up at the door.
That's hella funny. And I was like, wouldn't you kind of look at someone's podcast? Like, I at least check it out when I get offered to go buy a podcast. I want to know what I'm getting into. They didn't even check it out. You could see who I like and follow. I like and follow Joe Rogan and Donald Trump Jr. and all. Like, you could get it. Oh, I get the vibe. They didn't get the vibe.
Diligently check the shows he's going on. He doesn't.
No,
it was pure. That was the other thing. Like, this is clearly performative. You're not gonna like, actually kick somebody out. I almost want to, like, when I'm not pregnant. Actually, I went to a Bowling for Soup concert when I was 7 months pregnant, but there was seating in that. But I almost want to like go to one of his shows in like with security because I'd have to, but like in full MAGA, like red hat, red sweater, red pants, the freaking, I don't own them, but I'll find somebody who will lend me their Trump shoes. Like, I want to roll up in there with like a Trump wallet. I want to like hold a bottle of Trump vodka and just be like, "What, Ronnie? What?" Like, what are you? I want to just be as blatant, like spotlight red outfit.
I wish you were in California because I would go with you with a MAGA hat or America First. Like, let's roll. I'm in. Like, even if we get our ass beat, I'm a fighter. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've tried to slow down, but I'm a little bit of a fighter. So
yeah, I don't know. I haven't fought in like a long time. I feel like I can hold my own, but I'd rather just be strapped.
Yes. I have my conceal and carry. All my handles are pink. I love my guns. I feel safe because I'm a single mom right now. And so even though I'm in a safe community, if I take my kids camping or I take them up in the mountains and get an Airbnb, I love having the gun to know I could protect my children at all times. It just gives me that peace of mind.
The Second Amendment is such a blessing. That's so funny. I had no idea. I didn't know he had ever been on your show.
I'm gonna send you after this the clips because like he literally sounds like he's on drugs and doesn't make sense in these clips. So I'm gonna send you them after this. They're just
because it was really like I didn't really know anything about his politics or anything before that. I was, like when I listened to this music, I was in high school and younger. So like I wasn't really like I was just like consuming the music. I wasn't really looking up anything about these people. I was like going to the concerts, but I wasn't like really getting into them. So it really hadn't occurred to me. And I saw him at Warped Tour 2026. I was like, oh my God, we have to see Red Jumpsuit. Yes. And he gives this whole big spiel before they start playing music about like, people judge us because we're vocal about our religious beliefs. And if you don't want to be my fan because I'm a Christian, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I understand and I love you. And then literally like it was a few days later, he was like, never come to my shows if you're a Trump supporter because I'm a true Christian. And as a true Christian, I would like to let people know Jesus would have turned away the MAGA. And it's just like,
okay, one hit wonder. Can you name one band that has said, if you voted for Joe Biden and you're a liberal, do not support my music, because I can't think of one band that wants to ostracize a whole 50% of the United States because of their beliefs. It only is the left saying, we hate you. We want to literally do physical damage. Like Charlie Kirk's assassination really hurt me. Like I was crying for a couple weeks, and I normally am not a softie that gets affected by things. But the fact that freedom of speech is something taken down by the woke, insane, dangerous left, it freaks me out that you can't just have a conversation with us. Like I said, I'll have a conversation with anyone. I'm not going to get mad. I don't like Governor Newsom. I wish him and his children and his family the best. If his children needed a place to stay and a meal, I would cook a meal for them. I completely disagree with him, but I've never said, oh God, I want to hurt somebody because I disagree with them. That irks me.
And he literally, 2 weeks before Charlie Kirk's assassination, was telling people to go punch Republicans in the mouth.
Yeah.
He's just like, I mean, my favorite was when Tom McDonald made a song called "The Devil Is a Democrat," and it's obviously about Gavin Newsom, and Gavin Newsom's press Twitter was like, whatever, get back on Grindr.
That's crazy.
And it was like, oh, so homophobia is in now. We're back in. Homophobia is good again. We're good. We're all good.
Did you see Nicki Minaj, which kind of surprised me because she's been very LGBTQ? Is that, God, there's so many letters, but she's been so pro. And then she recently called out Gavin Newsom for being like on his platform. He's pro-trans. And then she posted the funny dance video with JD Vance. And I go, wow, she's waking up. And I'm not going to judge anyone that's waking up. Like, good for her.
Yeah. I mean, lifestyle differences aside, and I guess a broken clock can be right twice a day kind of thing.
Yeah.
I just think, it's how and like people give me shit for this, not necessarily on this network, but it's like the same way I feel about the Gays Against Groomers. It's like, what am I'm supposed to give you a gold star for having normal thoughts? Nicki Minaj, you finally figured out that like child abuse is wrong.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
I'm so over this performative crap, and it's like, because she's also finally realized, thanks to people like Tom McDonald, and thanks to people like you, and thanks to people like me, and I'm not going to actually, let me not take myself in that. I'm like D-list, if anything, but thanks to people who are willing to speak up, that like it's safe to do so now. So now it's like, in 2016, 2015, like that era, you would lose your job simply for just supporting Trump. And it's not just in Hollywood. I mean, almost fucking anywhere that like there is a prevalence in Democrats. You would just lose your job, you would lose your livelihood, and they would be like, sucks, you shouldn't have been a bigot. And like, what are you talking about? There's such a spectrum of Trump supporters, not just in like representation of like different classes and different people, but like just differences of opinion. Like there are pro-life and pro-choice Trump people. Like the idea that there's like MAGA, this is MAGA, then like MAGA is like Kyle Rittenhouse and nobody else.
No, exactly. And I love like all these left-wing propaganda podcasters recently are saying we're a divided party. No, we are not. We are made up of millions of people with different identities, different childhoods, different ethnicities, and different backgrounds. So of course we're not going to agree on every single issue. And I don't feel divided at all. I understand some people are whatever pro-Israel, and it's not my vibe. And I'm not going to say like, oh, you're a bad Republican. No, like at the end of the day, if we're voting for the same guy that has my views and what I want to go into place and into law for my children, then cool, right on. I'm not saying I need to be identical and exactly the same to everyone. So I think it's this weird, they're trying to play out like we're all divided and whatnot. We're just online and more vocal about our views. And it's okay if some people watch Matt Walsh, some people watch Ben Shapiro, some people like Nick Fuentes, and I honestly like to watch them all. I really like to gather information from all of them. I'm like a sponge. I want to absorb how people think and feel, even if I don't agree with everything they say. And I love how everyone's like, the party's crumbling. No, honey, you assassinated Charlie Kirk. Our party is stronger than ever, and you guys are screwed. I don't know if I
would say there is a lot of fractions of the right wing, but ultimately I think even though there is a lot of squabbling online, we still ultimately want most of the same things.
Yeah.
So it's and people forget too, like, while there is totally legitimacy to like the URL versus IRL like information war, a lot of the URL is just online. A lot of it's just it's not
Yeah.
real life, it's just Twitter. You know, like 10% of the people on Twitter are like viewed the most. You know what I mean? It's like this is such a microcosm, and like little niches are like really like the groypers are really loud, but that doesn't mean
I love it.
and I love no, I really love that, but like you're not
Yeah.
necessarily gonna like, you know, run into that in your everyday life. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
especially in California, like, you know, it's kind of scary that I'd be vocal, but then you've got our Moms for Liberty, Yolo County. There's a lot of women that show up, like 40 to 80 women. We meet at a winery once a month. We, you know, we started in 2020 because we were worried about our kids getting an experimental vaccine, and we wanted to start a homeschool program, you know, out on a farm. And so it was really cool. We all just came together and didn't know each other, and now we're so close. And I feel like I've got, and people don't understand, in California, there are some very right-wing traditional women, you know, that have that 1950s still. I like to cook and clean and raise kids, and that's what I love to do. Of course, this podcast is a hobby, but at the end of the day, I can't wait to get married again and take care of my man and just like serve him. I love that. I love to do that. And I think it's weird that women are like, I'm a feminist, go do stuff, working boss babe. Honey, I can be a boss babe and be second in charge at home and be the cheerleader of my man. Like, it doesn't make me any less.
Well, I think that women have like gotten so much less content in their lives since like being forced into this mentality that like the only way to be an accomplished woman is to be a boss babe. And like the joke of feminist equality of like all support of all women is like you'll like, you know, kick and scream about not getting your views heard, and then you won't stand by the person who like, you know, this Millie Bobby Brown is a great example. Like she's a young mom because she adopted a child, and people are like, oh, like she's in her early 20s, what is she doing to herself? And it's like, yo, where are the feminists at? Like,
Yes.
what are you talking about? Like she's more than you know, stable enough. She's got a really beautiful marriage. She has like unlimited help. You know, she has everything she needs to like give this little girl a beautiful life, and in your mind her life is ruined, or like, you know, she's doing this too young. You wouldn't say that if she like signed up for OnlyFans the second she turned 18 years old.
Right.
You'd be like, oh my God, honey, think about the rest of your life. Like,
Yes.
shut up. Like, when will we just admit that women hate each other and we give each other horrible advice to look horrible and behave horrible and, you know, like live these unfulfilled lives? And it just like,
No, it's
really
wild
sad.
to me. Like, I think we're all put on this earth to procreate, to have children. I think as a woman, the happiest I've ever been is having kids. I want to have more kids. I'm not done having kids, and I'm older, but I'm like, I love being a mom. It's the best thing in the world. My kids have grounded me. They've made me more successful. They made me want to work harder, but also I love raising them. Like, I'm the one that takes them to school and picks them up. We're going to start homeschooling next month, and I'm excited for that. It'll be a new adventure.
Yay.
But I love spending time with my babies. My babies have made me the best version of myself. And women that go, I'm a boss woman on my own, I don't need a man, I don't need to have a kid, I think they're missing out on the entire purpose of being a human and being on this earth.
Exactly. And the fact is they think of submission to a man as like being subservient, literally being of lesser value, but the Bible teaches us that we are of equal value. You belong to your husband as much as your husband belongs to you, and that he is supposed to, you know, treat you as if you're made of gold. Basically, you know, he's supposed to, and you're supposed to provide the safe and comfortable place for him to return home to. And that's, men and women have an incredibly symbiotic relationship, and the trifecta of that is when you have a family together, and people miss out on that. And you know what, like, some people can't have children, that's fine. Some people won't for whatever reason, but the idea these things should be pushed equally, and they're not. They're you know, like I said, people will cheer on Bad Baby for making however many millions of dollars the second she turned 18. Like, that's not predatory as hell.
She's
But
a
like,
child still,
literally,
right?
it's like, and like legally she was a child 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Like, you're telling me some of that content wasn't made illegally?
And to be real, I feel like definitely I had a really horrible father that shaped my identity. So I've been fighting my childhood identity. He wanted me to look beautiful and revealing. And when we go to Kid Rock and I'm 13, wear a red corset. Like, you need to look pretty for the company. My company's coming. And a very strange, when I met the creative Girls Gone Wild in Cancun at 18, my father said, "This is it. This is your relationship. I'm going to make sure that when Joe flies you out, I take you to the airport. I'm going to drive you to his Tahoe house." All of these things that, looking back now as a parent, I haven't talked to my dad in over 15 years, but it took me a long time until about 25 to realize, oh my goodness, my dad is putting me as a sex doll and shaping me up as a sexual figure, which is very strange, but it can skew your brain. And thank God I didn't wind up on OnlyFans, or that wasn't around, but it is hard. I do have a soft place in my heart for those girls. And when they come on my show, because some of our childhoods have definitely shaped, I know, like, I would have been a lot more conservative if my dad wasn't constantly pushing for, look like Pamela Anderson. That's who's in my garage. I'm working on my dirt bikes and I want you to look like that. And so it messes with your mind to be a sexual figure at such a young age, which is inappropriate.
No, it's entirely inappropriate, but it's also, it speaks heavily to the culture that we're raised in. And you know, like I said, I was a former degenerate, you know, like I lived in all of these little groups and did, you know, was around all of this stuff. And you're right. And I don't have hate for, you know, prostitutes, sex workers, or whatever. I think a lot of them very sickly represent it as a form of therapy. I think that there are some women in that are extremely predatory and know exactly what the fuck they're doing, and use it to be manipulative and evil and to come out ahead in life. And I think that that's incredibly wrong and, like I said, morally corrupted. But then there's women who see people on TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff, and they're like the bop house type bitches, and they're like, oh, look at them and their fancy cars and their nice house that they rented on Airbnb and they don't actually own.
Right.
And like, they want to live this lifestyle, so they sign up for OnlyFans and they find out, oh, 80% of the people on here make $100 a month. I could be more successful working as a manager at Dairy Queen.
Right.
It's like,
right. Or tell them to flip house. I flip houses, and that's how I've made so much money. And it's something you can kind of easily start in. But no, I do think there is a 50-50, right? Some are just pure evil that are getting into the sex industry, and they're all about money. They're just greed focused. And then there's some that I've had on my show that have been molested and touched and taken advantage of, unfortunately, by usually a family member, someone close to them. So now they have this skewed brain form or psychology of, this is how I'm taking my power back, or this is my worth in this world. And they really just need to find Jesus, right? They need to get into a church, get into a good group, get back closer to God, and figure out that it's okay. We make mistakes. All of us do, and learn from your mistakes and try to grow from them and go. Like I said, I was a wild child in my teens and 20s, I think because of my dad's influence of me. Right. And it took me a lot to get back. And when I had my first child, I was like, oh, I got to get back into church. And I got hardcore at 28 back into worshiping God. And like, what do I want for myself?
Right. Well, that's the thing too. A lot of, like I said, I feel similarly about like obesity, right? Like, I don't hate fat people, but I hate people who would get up on their grandstanding high horses about like, every type of body is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I can be 500 pounds and be living my best life. You're going to get people killed. You're straight up going to get people killed. And you're going to lead people to having horrible, miserable, disgusting lives because what, you don't want to like eat a salad instead and walk a little bit a day? I don't understand. Like, again, there are people who genuinely like fell on hard times, like lost a loved one and like fell into a rut. There are people who have medical problems. These are not like, you know, I'm not like, oh, well, fat people need to go to hell and stop being a burden on my taxes. But at the same time, there's this little group of people who will like cheer you on to your suicide as you like overindulge yourself. And these are genuinely evil people, in my opinion. These are people who are like, you know, people will look at me and be like, oh, she'll make, you know, Jew jokes, like she is the devil. And it's like, okay, but like I genuinely care about people, and and you know that like we're talking about obesity in this case, obesity, like it's like a generally a side effect of depression. So like when you see somebody who's like losing the capability of maintaining their physical body, it's like, okay, what's going on in your life right
It's
now?
a mental health issue, right? Like
It's
gluttony.
100%.
And look at fitness. Look at Lizzo in entertainment. She says, "Love my body, love how large I am." And then she gets really thin and they're all taking the Ozempic or the, you know, any of those drugs to try to lose weight, which are so dangerous for you. It's really harsh on your organs and your eyesight. It's for actual people with insulin deficiency problems. So it's wild to me that everyone's saying, "Love my body, love my body." I mean, no, there's a little like, okay, I got thick last year, but like thick, not like I'm not going to let it get out of hand because I like good food. I like to cook, but I'm going to go to the gym and keep my form. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No,
Like,
I understand. Like, and I mean, there's also a different, like, I'm not insisting that everybody be perfectly in shape. I think that
yeah.
that's absurd. I don't think everybody shouldn't be bodybuilders. Nobody needs to be freaking this big. I think that's unrealistic. And you're gorgeous, by the way.
Oh, thank
So
you. And
don't even
Ariana
worry about
Grande needs a feeding tube. Like, we don't want to get that
it.
side,
No.
right?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't need to, being a stick figure is also horrible.
Yeah.
And an indication of mental disorder. But like when you create an environment of you know, upper echelon celebrities that are promote, like, you know, the Megan Trainors and the Amy Schumers and the Lizzos who are like, you know, remember when Amy Schumer like did the pregnancy shoot when she like in a diaper and like she looks like
Weird.
trash. And it was
Weird.
just like,
Yeah.
I'm fat, but that's okay because I'm pregnant. And it was like, no, you're just
And
trying
now
to be.
she's skinny and filed divorce from her autistic boyfriend. And it's
I
like,
know, and it's horrible. The guy who
yeah.
stayed with you while you were fat and disgusting, and now you're like, ooh, I'm skinny and I can look like I was in high school. So like, peace, bitch, I'm gonna go find a new man. It's like
Yes.
hypocrisy
Oh,
is one thing, but like again, it's just like it shows how incredibly vapid these people are. And like I said, I do think, and I, you know, I have my little female circle, and I like certain, and like you're very cool, but like I keep that circle small because I think that females really do love to sabotage each other. And I think that feminism and like fourth wave feminism is like such an example of that. Like, oh, bitch, you want to shave off all your hair and dye your eyebrows purple and wear man's clothes that like haven't washed for 3 days? Like, sister, go for it. Like, what are you
I
doing?
agree. Or like the jealousy, right? Like I love you. I think I get great vibes from you. And I have a group of maybe 4 great girlfriends that I've had my entire life now for 40 years. And I love them to death. But I don't make new girlfriends. Very common. I've know there are a lot of haters. Recently, I had a girl come after me. I went on her husband's podcast and she was jealous of me. Her husband came for me in the DMs and I knocked him down and she found that. And so she just started talking crap about me all over online. And I'm going, honey, you are a broke girl renting in the ghetto. I don't know why you are wasting your time talking bad about me. Like and I don't care. And you will not find me talking crap about anybody. I want everyone to win. Go you. I'm too busy. I have an empire. I have a lot of money. I own a huge house in cash. I got 2 kids and a podcast and I'm running a bar. I don't have time to look at your bullshit life that's depressing with your old ass boyfriend that has 4 baby mamas that I went on his podcast. And you're talking crap about like, but that's women. A lot of women I notice hate on successful women doing very well. And I don't, if you're doing better than me, I'm like, oh my God, can we go out to lunch? Can I take you out? I want to figure out how to do as well as you. It inspires me.
Exactly. Well, that's like a rising tide brings up all the ships. And like, I feel like a lot of women don't get that. And I feel like people call girls like us mean girls, but like the reality is the real mean girls are like the Regina George type who will be like, oh, I love your skirt. It looks so cute. I fucking hate that skirt. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
I
I'm
will
so
just fucking
blunt.
exactly.
I'm
I
so in
will
your
just
face.
tell you what the fuck I'm thinking about, and you can tell me like back off, and I fucking will. I'll respect you or whatever. But like, you're not gonna like make me feel bad for being honest. Like, it's not like I can't
100.
read a fucking room and can tell, like, not when to
And
shut
people
my
see
goddamn
me
mouth.
bite back. They think I'm this like wild, crazy fighter girl, and I'll play into my radio persona, that's wilder than my reality. But people see me bite back like they did at this festival recently. And I go, that was 7 months of this girl coming for me online as a keyboard warrior. I can't
Yeah.
legally go into details, but when I bite back, someone came for me. I don't come for people. Like I said, I literally don't care. But if you're coming for me nonstop, I will bite back. I'll
Yeah.
do it.
Well, I mean, it's unrealistic to expect otherwise. And like,
Yeah.
I do feel it's still like a more masculine trait of mine or whatever. That's like, I should try to like feminize and soften a little bit, but you have
Me
to,
too.
especially in this internet space, you got to be a little bit fucking rough. And you know what? Honestly, these OnlyFans hoes get off, and all of these other like really dumb, crazy ladies, I will happily sign off and like stick to my freaking recipe books, and I will only go online to watch crochet videos
Love
and
it.
how to like paint my walls. I will log
Because
off
I want my next
Mm-hmm.
husband, I love it. I want him to own me. Again, I want him to be in charge. I want him to run the house and be so successful. And I want to add to his empire, but I want my man to basically have me on a leash, tell me what to do. I love being subservient to my man.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily equate mine to putting on a leash, but like honestly, like because I do try to steer away from that a little bit, but
Yeah.
frankly, like I wouldn't have married a man that I wouldn't trust with everything. He has the final say. He listens to my opinion and he respects me, but like I listen to him at the end of the day because I wouldn't have picked him if he's never gonna lead like blindfold walk me across a field of dirt and sand and glass and make me like eat garbage. He's never
I love
gonna
that
give me-
analogy. Like you're giving your trust over, and God has said a woman and a man together is the best. That's why we started with Adam and Eve. And so you fully trust your man. That's why you wanted to marry him and bear his children. And I wanted my first marriage to work so bad. So I'm bummed it didn't work, but I also am like that hopeless romantic. I don't want to lose sight of it. And I cannot wait to one day get married again and have even more babies and just really learn all the tools to make a marriage work. Cause it is hard work. It's not something that just comes at as easily. It's two different people with two different traumas and two different backgrounds coming together, trying to learn how to heal someone's childhood together. So it's work.
Right. It's always work. And the idea too, I think a lot of people, and I'm definitely not saying this about you, because I don't want you to take this about like, because
I don't get offense to anything though. Just let you know.
No, I always feel like I have to disclaimer, but like I feel like people get into relationships not understanding that like you will face hardships. There will be times when you wake up and you're like I don't want to deal with this again. Like you're going to have fights, you're going to have problems, you're going to encounter stressful situations that you don't handle gracefully every single time. Like finding a marriage isn't about like everything's going to be perfect all the time. And because people think it should be, they fucking jump ship the moment something happens. You know what I mean?
That's so correct. It is not fairy tales and BS Disney movies and everything simple and easy. It's who do you want to go in the trenches with, and you're going to pull out together. And it is hard when you get independent though. I think I've gotten too much in my masculine. Been divorced for 6 years and I've got really successful. And I will say it is harder to date when you get so successful and you're masculine paying all the bills. Cause I'm like, now my bar is so high. I want someone to at least meet me where I'm at, and then in California, oh my God, dating in California for me has been horrendous. Everyone's a liberal right away. And I don't want to marry a liberal. I will talk to you. I will sit next to you at a bar. I am not marrying a liberal. And so that's fucking like 80%. Sorry if I'm not supposed to go. 80% okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Like 80% at least or 90% are liberals that are like, yeah, I'm on my 6th booster. Do you want to go out to dinner? And I'm like, no.
I don't even want to share a drink with you.
Yes. I don't want your babies anywhere in me that are going to have like 3 eyes and 11 fingers. So no, man, dating for me in California as a right-wing woman has been challenging.
We got to your kids are there, but we gotta like expand the dating horizons. I feel like
I know.
because like you're a very cool person.
Thank
And
you.
I
You are
don't
too.
I very much understand like you get away from that mentality. But I feel like, you know, like having the kids like definitely ties you back to it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you know, people also that's another like right-wing thing that I think is nonsense. Like a healthy woman can have healthy kids. Like
Yes.
you know, like
Yes.
the idea that like there's like this automatic wall. I think that that's like a really funny like trope of like the niche right that I've always
Yeah.
kind of just laughed at. And like obviously like would I have liked to have started having kids before 28, especially since I've known my husband since I was 15, like definitely, but like
Aw.
you have to like you live the life you live and you learn the lessons that you learn, and like there's no point in going back and regretting that, but you can prepare yourself for the life that you want to live. Like when I figured out that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, I was like, okay, like what can I do to work from home that I can be here and be with the kids and still be successful? And it was like, you know, my husband was doing the same thing. These are things you just like you learn and you adjust. And like I wish more people like you were able to have the conversation of like, no, like it's okay to aspire to be a mom. It's okay to aspire to like being taken care of and like running your home and helping out, you know, with like your businesses could just be things that you enjoy to do, things that are fun and things that you
Yeah.
can do with your spouse. Like I think that that's like that is peak success for me. The fact that I can run a business with my husband and have this thing at home. And younger girls, like, they're just not taught that. They're like, you gotta like hustle, you gotta make it on your own, you gotta stack them bills before you even consider laying down with a man. It's like, I think you're
No,
just
I think
getting
it's beautiful that you're a stay-at-home mom. I think that's the most rewarding, powerful job you can do as a woman. And, you know, I was a purely stay-at-home mom for 6 years. And then now I only work when they're gone on the weekends. And so I'm still like a 75% stay-at-home mom, in
right.
charge Monday through Friday. But I can't wait. Like I said, I want to have more babies and continue to stay at home. I feel the happiest and like I'm doing my job of why Jesus put me here on this earth when I'm cooking and cleaning for my babies and I'm bathing them and I'm reading to them and putting them to bed. That's when it's funny. Everyone's like, "What's your favorite rock star and an album you've been on and rock stars you toured with?" I'm like, the coolest thing is my kids and like being with them. That's my favorite memories.
And that's it's like they're like I have what I like to refer to, like, as like these little flashbulb moments, and like, you know, those are fun, and like meeting people's cool and stuff like that. Would I trade that for time with my children? Never.
Exactly.
Like, was there
Yeah.
any time I would pick the worst night home with the kids, miserable and sick and grumpy, over like a night out with like the biggest my favorite celebrity. You know what I mean?
Me
Like
too. Well, because we're raising the next generation. And you know what's
exactly.
funny? Somebody said this, not me, but someone on a podcast said, "You know what? We're going to outbreed them." And I laughed so hard because literally right-wing women, we like to breed, as it put it in a blunt way, you know? I like to make babies.
Right?
And so a lot of these liberal women are like, "I don't need a kid. I don't need a kid. I'm my own woman and I'll just spend money on myself, or, you know, we're going to do dual income. What is that? With no children." And I go, "What
Yeah,
a
2 income
horrible
taxes.
life." Yeah,
Yeah.
what an unfulfilling I'd rather be a little broke and my babies are having the most incredible life and they're getting spoiled and learning and traveling together. I don't understand people that are missing the mark and don't have kids. I don't get it.
It's so funny to me because all those influencers too, they're always like, I wake up whenever I want and I watch cartoons and then I go for a run. And it's like all of these things are like, A, you could do that with kids. And
Yes.
B, your life looks so empty.
Yeah.
You're
And they're like, my dog is my child, and they dress it up and it's really creepy. And it's like, yeah, just get a jogging stroller with your kids and go out jogging. Or, you know,
oh my god.
I
How do
have
you
more fun doing things with kids.
yeah, how do you feel about this new trend of women who are doing like the fake dolls?
Oh, that's creepy. And they have like the skin aesthetically feels real and everything.
And they
It's
like
kind
have
of
whole
sad.
bedrooms. They have whole bedrooms for them, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, if only someone told you you could do that for real.
It's a mental disorder, right? I mean, like
Yeah.
we're peering into the lives of people. I don't think this is anything new, but we're getting to see more with social media that a
Well, I
lot of
think
people are mentally ill.
we're creating more developed forms of psychosis for sure.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think feminists don't help that. I think that like if feminists actually were equally advocating for all lifestyles, then like there would have already been a ton of women who were like, you know what, working's for the birds. I want to like, what's that, the Cali chick that's like, I want to churn butter and like, like work for, or like a be like a submissive wife to a guy who doesn't like Israel. you know?
Yeah. I mean, the best thing you can do is invest in your family.
Yeah.
That's the best investment you can make. I'm investing in my house and my kids' future, and you hope they wanna help you back and invest back in you too, and that
That's so not the point. Yeah.
it's not, but I want to invest in my blood over somebody else I'm not related to's job or, place. It's of interest. It's like, no, nothing's stronger than blood. So I want to just focus on my babies and my baby's happiness rather than, oh man, I better get on a suit and run off to a 9 to 5. That wouldn't feel fulfilling for me.
Well, I feel like they did that for two main reasons, they being the government. One, it devalues the cost of an employee, so you can get away
Mhm.
with paying people less. And two, it incentivized the instigations of what I refer to as commie daycare or public schools. Just they raise your kids from 0 to 12, and then you send them to college, and it's more libtard education and like
It's so disgusting, people that literally birth a child and it just comes out of them and they throw it into a daycare. They
no,
don't even spend time with it. Like my kids didn't even go till kindergarten, and they go to private school and it's actually cute. I was fine with them staying in private school because I do like this California private school, but the
we
last
find a
year and a
great
half,
school.
it's a
Like,
great school, but like they've been asking me to homeschool. They've been begging me the last year and a half. So finally I said, okay, next semester, let's do it. Let's start it. And so I'm excited to start this journey in January. But the people that have a kid, it literally has the placenta on it and they're throwing it into daycare and they're rushing off so someone else could raise their baby. Why have a baby?
yeah, why
Why
not
do
just
that?
adopt a dog?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
That's really
weird.
what you might as well. And I mean, it's like, again, it speaks to like the sick nature of how we view families and children. It's like, well, like I can have a child, but I just got to make sure I got to get back to my 9 to 5. And
Which
it's
is so like your kids should be your number one priority. Like my babies are everything. And then of course I've liked making money, but that's why I liked flipping a house because I could easily send someone in there to do some paint and some baseboards while I'm sitting at home with my babies and then put it on the market and have somebody else sell it. But like I don't ever want a career where I'm like, oh, I gotta leave my babies. Oh, I gotta take away from them and my time with them. I would much rather be poor in finances and rich in life because I'm with my kids.
Exactly. And I mean, the best thing that a husband can do for his wife is be able to provide enough so that she can choose to stay home. And you see
Yes.
these like heartbreaking videos of these women who like, and I mean, maternity leave in this country is a joke. That's why they'd rather pay for abortion, because it costs a lot less to fund your abortion than it does to fund your maternity leave.
Which is
But
so
let's like
disgusting. Yeah.
glossing right over that. These like disgustingly short maternity leaves, and you see these women online like weeping about like how they don't want to leave their babies. And it's like, that's because you're not supposed to.
Exactly. And I will say my hat's off to my ex-husband. He is incredible and he financially helps out. And the plan was for me to stay at home. And so that is always a piece of the pie. Make sure you get married to a good old fashioned man that says, I want the mother of my children to raise my kids. And it does take two to tango. I don't care if you're married or divorced. It definitely takes a village and two. So he is really supportive and incredible about, hey, what do you need so you can stay at home to raise our kids? And that's just really important that you see eye to eye with who you have kids with before you get into that.
Well, I mean that's something that's really beautiful about people who could successfully co-parent like that. It's like your kids obviously are what comes first in this scenario, and if that
Yeah.
means supporting the other person and figuring out how to help support the other person still, then that should definitely still be a priority. The other, like, neither one of you should have to suffer in order to be able to provide for the kids. And like, I think that that is like a really beautiful thing, because like through something that's so stressful and so difficult, like the kids come out first and your relationship still maintains to the degree that you want each other to be successful. I think that that's
100%. Yeah.
truly important, and really rare.
It is. And me coming from a little bit of money, because my mom's dad was so successful as the judge. And so that helped out, that I don't need alimony, or that he helped me start the house flipping. I didn't just start it out of thin air. And so me not kind of draining from him on for myself, but him saying, I want to make sure the kids are okay and the kids are supported. And what do the kids need financially? Then obviously I want to step up and be there as much as I can. Even if he wants to go hunting on a weekend, I'm like, oh, I'll take them, because I know you're going to financially fill in where I can't, because I want to physically be there during the week while you're working very hard. So kind of, it is rare though. The older I get and the more people I talk to, they're not co-parenting successfully.
No, and I mean, I know, like, I've even seen, firsthand, one of the worst things I've ever seen. It was like a child exchange, and I won't dox the family that this happened to, but like they were, one parent was picking up, one parent was dropping off, and they started bickering just like in front of this kid, and like one of the parents just like casually was like, well, at least the kid likes me more. And it was like, oh my gosh, like, why would you even, this is horrible. That poor child is like little.
They're hurting their child at the end of the day. By speaking negatively about your co-parent, you're only hurting your child, which is not being a good parent.
Yeah, and it teaches them a really horrible lesson when it comes to, their future relationships, because it's like, hey, like, even if like the worst case scenario happens and you don't work out, you need to be able to respect somebody that you have children with. And that should just be the base level. But if you teach them like, oh, something happens, you could just disrespect somebody. Or like, or even worse, like, oh, I can speak that way to your mother or your father. So like, open season.
Yeah, it's really important that both parties speak very highly about the other parent to the kids. And even if you have a disagreement, like I'm sure there's been slight disagreements, you in private text or call them on the phone and say, hey, I don't want this sporting event to take place during the summer, or this vacation's too long, whatever it is. You don't want to ever tell your kid, I'm upset with what dad's doing or mom's doing, because that could cause animosity or friction, within the relationship.
And you should never use your kid to like be the intermediary between you. And that's like, that goes to people who are actively living together or married. You know what I mean? Like, I see that happen with people, with couples like that too. It's like, like, oh, well, like, because kids will start to learn to like play you off of each other, and it like becomes like incredibly manipulative, and it's a really toxic environment for everybody involved.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but I grew up in a toxic, they were married for 22 years, but they hated each other. So the 18 years I was living under one roof, they would often fight all the time, be in separate bedrooms. So I'm trying to relearn and teach myself, and just through books and podcasts, how to be in a successful relationship, because my vision of watching my parents hate each other was obviously a horrible example. And it's just so important we show our kids like a calm environment of people that love each other. And it's okay to disagree. Like, that's going to happen, but we come back together and say sorry and everything. So, but I'm still learning, I'm still teaching myself how I want to go into my next relationship. I want it to be my last and very successful. So that's something I'm kind of researching in a funny way.
Well, I mean, you have to, like, when you don't have the example growing up, and we definitely, like, there's no reason my husband and I should have a successful relationship with the role models that, or with the lack thereof, that we had growing up. But it's just one of those, like, I'm not blind to the fact I like accidentally stumbled onto the love of my life when I was 15 years old. Like,
that's so sweet. I love that.
Like, I love our story, but like, we got so lucky. And I'm not ignorant to that, which is almost why, like, I'm hesitant to give like dating and marriage advice, because it's like, I fucking won the lottery. Like, I don't even know what happened. One day I didn't want to go to Columbus Circle, and I went anyway, and there was this like stunningly handsome man with like the most beautiful piercing blue eyes, and I was like, he'll never be into me. And turns out he was into me immediately. Aww. And we started dating a week later, and we both had to go through horrible shit. But he literally ultimately, and you'll probably like the story, but he called me from prison. And
we all make mistakes. God forgives us.
Okay, so National Treasure, the movie?
Yeah.
He's the real life Nicolas Cage.
Oh my goodness.
During Hurricane
Okay.
Irene, he broke into the Washington Crossing State Memorial Park with some people after having ingested Four Loko and Xanax for the first time. Because
my kind of guy.
They were
I
out.
already like it.
They were out trying to siphon gas because he was staying with a friend. His friend's mother had was on a dialysis machine, and they needed a generator to run her dialysis machine, so they needed gas. The gas station didn't have gas. My little hood rat and his little friends were out siphoning gas. Took this horrible combination of intoxicants and woke up in a Confederate uniform with Alexander Hamilton's dueling pistol and a criminal record.
That sounds like a fun night, though. That's like a good story for the plot, you know?
I was
like
going to say, it definitely, and hopefully he'll get it expunged very soon, so hopefully he'll get all of his rights back, and I can start advocating to repeal the 19th, because I won't have the only vote in the House.
Yeah. Well, look, he's got a beautiful wife and a lot of babies and a career that can help support you guys, so, I mean, he turned it around.
He called me on the phone in prison, and he was like, I've literally loved you from the day that we met, and I will do everything that I can to prove to you that I deserve to marry you, and like we should start our lives completely anew. I want to have a family. I want to just like, let's do it. And I was just like, I'm down. I'm super down. And I packed my shit and I moved 3,000 miles, and we were married pretty much a year exactly later.
See, you're a success story, though. So I love this reality show on WeTV, Love After Lockup. And a lot of them, unfortunately, don't work out, but they're very similar. Like someone gets a reality check in prison, either calls a former ex or meets a new pen pal, and things go south. And it's just a good mind-boggling show. I miss my kids on Friday night when I drop them off, so it like takes me away, and I put it on Friday night. But you guys are that strange, cool success story that he knew you were so good for him and the love of his life, and he was going down a wrong path, and then went back to God, back on a good path, established your relationship and got back together. And I love, like I said, I'm into my I messed up. Like I said, I was such a wild girl when I was younger. I think I was trying to deal with the pain of my parents' divorce and the toxic relationship and their screaming growing up. So I was definitely trying to numb, with alcohol. And so I got myself in some very wild situations while drinking heavily. And now I love that I have a glass of wine here and there. I have tea at night. I'm very chill. I'm more about my kids. But I kind of, like I said, I really dig people that have gone through dark times and have turned it around. I vibe with them. I vibe with people that have been through trauma more than, I grew up in this perfect life and everything's been perfect and my parents are still married. And I love those friends. I had a lot of sorority sisters like that, but I don't on a deeper level connect with them because I had trauma,
Yeah, exactly. And I would definitely love to do another episode with you where we like swap stories, because I feel like we have some really fun stories to swap. But this has been really great, and I just I love getting to talk with people who don't necessarily have our lifestyles very, very different, but it's so good to show people that these very different people can have so many things in common and can have so many of the same aspirations, and you don't need to fit into this cookie cutter little example in order to find commonalities with people. You don't have to agree about everything. You don't have to lead the exact same lives. You don't have to I think that more people need to understand that, because I think that we tend to socially ostracize people these days. I feel like cliques are a lot more prevalent. I feel like people kind of fall into these categories. You're you have teams and ideological teams basically around politics, and you're not allowed outside of your team, or you're a betrayer. And I think that that's nonsense. And I think the only reason that people like me ever even discover right-wing ideology is understanding there's such a spectrum of people, and you don't need to fall on one end or the other necessarily. You just need to find the commonalities. And quite frankly, if you're a strong advocate of the First Amendment, if you're a nationalist who loves your country, if you're somebody who fights for the rights of the unborn,
yeah,
there's very little I could take problem with other than that. You know what I mean? And like,
I love your show, Kim. I love what you're doing. I think your ideals are really cool. It is neat that we look different, but you know, at the end of the day, we like music, we like freedom of speech, we love being a mom, and you know, protecting our rights. And so I really loved coming by your show, and I need you on my show, where I'm gonna book you after this. So you're gonna get booked either March or April. We'll figure out a day that works for you.
Perfect.
But I want to talk about more politics on my show too. I know rock and roll is what I'm known for, and it's fun, but
let's get political. I want to talk about
it.
politics stuff. That would be great.
Yeah.
It was so cool because it was funny. I was like watching you talk about coming on, and you were like, I'm so excited to talk about politics. And I've been spending the whole time like, I'm so excited to talk about rock.
That's really funny. That's really funny. Yeah.
It is really funny because like we're both like, oh, I've been in this world so long. I'm just gonna talk about other stuff. So it's like, it's nice that like those can overlap. And I swear we're gonna do Warp 2027.
I'm down.
I'm trying to do that I'm not going to do it this year. I'm going to have Enrique host the party for me this year because I will have literally have a 1-month-old.
Yeah.
Less than a 1-month-old. But I'm doing a thing where every year now we do an emo karaoke party bus, and then the pre-event for Warp Tour.
Are you doing Warped in Florida? Or
no,
DC?
I did DC. I do DC just because it's closer.
Okay.
Cool. It's like 3 hours instead of all the way. I could drive there.
My girlfriend just moved to Virginia. So I went last year and we did the whole monument walkthrough again and stuff. So I love that area. So that I'm down. DC Warp Tour 2027.
Let's do it. Okay. Well, it's been so great. Remind people where they can follow you and support your work, please.
Thank you. So Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Stefs Rock Show, Steph with an F, SDFSSH. Oh, Stefs Rock Show. Sorry, I messed it up. STEFSROCKSHOW. Follow Stefs Rock Show everywhere.
Thank you so much. And stay tuned after the end. And we'll book the thing. We'll talk after. It'll only take a second. But again, thank you guys so much for joining us today on WARPAINT. This has been an awesome show. I know we normally do politics and stuff like that, but today it's much more chill. Just talk about life, talk about everything. So thank you guys. Make sure you're subscribed to the Warboy Studios and stay tuned for tomorrow's Sunday. Stay tuned for Monday's episode of WARPAINT at 2:30 p.m. I will see you there. It has been a good one, and I hope that you wore it well.
You are now banned from the computer. Goodbye.